So much goes on in big government we don't know about. It seems Washington insiders are always trying to pull a fast one. Who can we count on to hold politicians accountable?
Hi, I'm Tom Fitton, President of Judicial Watch. Judicial Watch was founded in 1994 to combat government corruption and abuse.
People often ask us who we are and what we do, and it's always hard to give a short answer. Judicial Watch is conservative, but not beholden to any political party. We battle in court the most powerful figures in government when they break the people's trust and violate the law. We're an educational foundation promoting transparency, accountability, and integrity in government, politics, and the law. We're investigators using the Freedom of Information Act and the Open Records process to reveal corruption and ensure accountability. We're a valuable resource, a place where concerned Americans can come to learn more about their politicians, to report abuses of power, or to join the fight for ethical government. And we're a clear voice in the media, demanding accountability and respect for the rule of law. From newspapers to television to the courthouse steps, Judicial Watch is vigilant in the pursuit of truth and justice.
There are two cases, I think, that stand out for the critics. One is the Detroit case, which has clearly collapsed on the government.
In the previous administration, we had Waco under Janet Reno, we had the Elian Gonzalez siege down in Miami, and there was nothing comparable with John Ashcroft.
Our motto? Because no one is above the law. Judicial Watch has filed more than 150 lawsuits against corrupt public officials with a long string of victories. It is this aggressive approach, in part, that makes us so effective. In fact, the Hill newspaper recently ranked Judicial Watch among the top 10 most effective watchdog groups in Washington, D.C.
Before Judicial Watch, there was very little that conservatives could do or were doing to hold our elected officials, primarily, accountable for dishonesty. And Lord knows there was plenty of it to go around. Today, I think the political system is far more careful because it knows of the watchdog role that Judicial Watch plays in the process.
We present this panel to provide conservative perspectives on Judge Alito's nomination.
And with the support of our members, we become more effective every day, fighting the battles that many politicians don't have the nerve to take on. Judicial Watch obtained an unprecedented court ruling that former President Clinton committed a crime when he released information from the private personnel files of Kathleen Willey, a woman he had sexually assaulted. We took on Hillary and her legal sharks when hundreds of federal employees had their private FBI files laid bare in the Clinton White House. It was Judicial Watch, working with a whistleblower, that helped secure the indictment of Hillary Clinton's Director of Finance, an indictment that centered on Senator Clinton's illegal Hollywood cash gathering.
Judicial Watch is calling upon the United States Senate Select Committee on Ethics to investigate and discipline Hillary Clinton for the personal role she played in the plan to skirt campaign finance laws.
Most of the United States is talking about Herndon, Virginia. Who would have figured?
And when lawmakers in Virginia decided that public land and public funds should be used to build and run an employment center for illegal aliens, Judicial Watch took up the fight on behalf of taxpayers and the rule of law.
Tom Fitton of the public interest law group Judicial Watch likened the worksite to the local government running a brothel or drug dealing center. He told council members he'd see them in court if they voted yes.
This morning we filed a lawsuit on behalf of concerned Herndon residents against the town of Herndon seeking a declaratory judgment that the site, the proposed day labor site, is unlawful, violation of federal and state law, and we're seeking a permanent injunction preventing from taxpayer resources from being expended on that site.
Because unconstitutional Senate rules have allowed the filibuster to dictate the shape of America's courts, Judicial Watch has challenged the Senate itself, demanding in federal court that President Bush's judicial nominees get the up or down vote to which they are entitled.
Why is the U.S. going to bat for Yasser Arafat, who is a terrorist, who has murdered Americans?
Judicial Watch, with the help of the Freedom of Information Act, forced the release of State Department documents dating all the way back to 1996 that proved the Clinton administration was warned about the threat posed by Osama bin Laden but took no meaningful action to stop him and his terror network. We came to the aid of federal postal workers hurt by the anthrax attacks of October 2001 due to government corruption and negligence.
Judicial Watch helped us to be able to put our heads back up and stand up firm and know that there was someone out there who cared, who understood our situation, or who was willing to fight for us to the end.
The laws of the nation are only as just and effective as the judges entrusted with their interpretation. In addition to its campaign against government corruption, Judicial Watch monitors the courts to make sure judges are accountable to the people. Our internet site, judicialwatch.org, hosts a searchable database where citizens can find financial disclosure reports for all Supreme Court, Federal Appellate Court, and Federal District Court judges.
Of course, the vast majority of men and women who serve in our government are honorable people with integrity and the very best interests of the United States and its people in mind. But, of course, as in any society at any time, there are always going to be those few individuals in positions of power who are not honest, who don't have the integrity of a George Washington, who are corrupt.
Judicial Watch is a nonprofit organization. We rely on everyday Americans to take our fight for accountable government forward. At our internet site, judicialwatch.org, you can follow the continuing battle against dishonest government and politicians. You can sign up to receive our monthly publication, The Verdict, and Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton's weekly update, or check out our blog, Updated Daily. You can learn more about Judicial Watch's educational seminars on government corruption and judicial abuse, and report incidents of corruption in your community.
The request for an investigation into John Kerry's medal submitted by the government watchdog group Judicial Watch.
The documents relate to Mr. Clinton's controversial pardons.
A legal activist group called Judicial Watch has brought the suit.
The idea now that executive privilege extends outside the White House is a new concept.
As President Theodore Roosevelt said many years ago, no man is above the law, nor is any man below it. And we seek no man's permission when we ask him to be accountable to it. Judicial Watch has always taken that charge laid down by Theodore Roosevelt so many years ago very seriously. And all of us need to do everything that we can to make sure that Judicial Watch is able to continue to ensure that no man is above the law.
Today, Judicial Watch is stronger than ever and better equipped than ever to take on the powerful and the corrupt. It's a battle we'll keep fighting as long as we continue to have the support of concerned and patriotic Americans. Call 1-888-JW-ETHIC today to find out how you can become a member of the team that works tirelessly in Washington for the ideals and interests of ordinary Americans.
Judicial Watch promotes the values of transparency, integrity, and accountability in government, politics, and the law. Whether it be by suing corrupt politicians like Bill Clinton or litigating against the government to combat government secrecy and expose corruption and abuse, Judicial Watch believes firmly in the conservative principle that no one is above the law. Thank you for your time and support.